when you get around to asking what actually goes on, what do you believe? How do the rituals work? How much of this do you take seriously or not? Well, that's where you're going. The answers are going to vary quite a bit. And I am not now, nor have I ever been a member of a Masonic lodge. I'm not interested in becoming one. I like to put them under a microscope and look at them. I guess that's the whole idea. I mean, the way that I come at secret societies is that at some level, I just don't understand why people want to do that. And that's what it is that I think that I'm always trying to figure out, is that why I'm not an organization guy. And I have a kind of natural aversion to placing myself in an organization where I am under the authority of other people. I think a lot of us can relate to that. I mean, we have to submit to some of it.
Well, you have the Woody Allen perspective of not wanting to be part of any, club that would have you as a member.
Yes, that is exactly right. And do not want to be a member of any club that would have me.
Or as Bob Dylan would say, you got to serve somebody. It might be the devil or it might be the Lord, but you're going to have to serve somebody.
It's the minute there are people telling me what to do, I'm 1 foot out the door. I couldn't even hack the Boy Scouts. That was too much for me, which gives you an idea.
Well, can I just ask though?
Sure.
I don't know. To me, this seems to be the part that I do understand.
It's because you like rules.
I like rules, but as humans, we want a sense of, I mean, the word is fraternity, which is gendered, but we want a brotherhood, we want a sisterhood. It provides protection. It keeps us from, being attacked. It maintains a boundary against vulnerability. I mean, to me, that actually makes sense. What doesn't make sense is, with all due respect, all the weird shit that goes on in these secret societies.
Well, it's like someone there was an interview we were talking about the Bohemian Club, not Bohemian Grove. Grove is where they meet. The group is the club. And the question that came up was that, well, I can understand a lot of rich guys having a club and they want to get off in the woods and sort of kick back. That makes a certain amount of sense. But why the robes, the chanting, and the owl? Okay. Why is that necessary? Because, I understand summer camps, and I never went to a summer camp. I did do that had a giant owl, and we had to dress in robes and chant to the owl. That just wasn't part of it. There's an appeal to mysticism. Everybody likes in fact, one of the founders and leaders of a short-lived but very influential secret society in the 18th century, a fellow by the name of Adam Weishaupt, who founded a thing called the Illuminati, said that nothing so appeals to the human mind than a concealed mystery. So as setting up the whole Illuminati, which had a very kind of political purpose, he knew that there was an appeal to making things mysterious and to swearing oaths and to having the robes and, rather than turn on electric lights, how about some torches? It adds an ambiance to these things, and it adds a certain aesthetic to it that you don't have otherwise. But going back, we were talking about the Freemasons. I was giving an example of a secret society and whether you should be afraid of something. The Freemasons advertised their existence, but there was the local lodge here in the town that I live in has been having a recruiting drive, and they have a sign up in front of the lodge. And in addition to the sign that tells you that they're there, and it says secret society ? Not so much. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about that, then they go, no, we're not a secret society. So we are kind of, but how much? Do you want to come in and find out? It's a kind of interesting teaser in that regard. What you'll often get from Freemasons is they'll tell you, this is a boilerplate response, which is that, no, we're not a secret society. We're a society with secrets. Join the organization. We're admitted. You're chosen. This is one of the things about, if you wanted to figure out, is this a secret society? Well, first of all, you get picked. Or you don't get picked. Use another example, a fraternity or a sorority at college. Some people get in. Some people don't get in. The reasons for that are sometimes obvious or they're concealed. But some people don't make the cut for one reason or another.
Well, and that gives, exclusivity is attractive.
Yes. Okay. Always that you've become part of something that other people or most people can't get into. And Weishaupt would say that that appeals to something else in people, vanity. Okay, one of the quickest ways to segue you into someone is to appeal to their vanity, appeal to their preferred aesthetics. But once you get into the group, you're sworn. You have to swear an oath, and the oath is generally to secrecy. So you don't talk about what goes on within the organization, because that's not for non-members. Now, you may be getting the secrets of the universe explained to you here, and most people just can't handle that. So you have been chosen to receive particular wisdom or information that other mere mortals will not have. Probably makes it sound a lot more interesting than it actually is, but that's part of the appeal. So on its own, there's nothing that odd about people being selected for a group. I'm special. I've now been chosen to be part of the group, and you go through the oaths of secrecy to keep things hopefully within it. Although, as I've pointed out to more than one Masonic acquaintance of mine, I can figure out all of your secrets. I don't even know what they are. I'm what's in Masonic circles known as a cowan. That is a nosy outsider who pries around trying to find out the secrets of the order without becoming a member. Yeah, that's what I do, but for scholarly purposes. And I said, I can go and find all of your rituals. There's nothing really secret about it. So what are all of these terrible oaths of secrecy? The whole idea of I lost my heart and hope to die. That's a condensed version of a secret society oath. But there's always the threat of death, horrible death, if you betray the secrets.
It's a good motivator. Fear of death.
It's a good motivator. I said, look, we know that if somebody betrays this, they're not going to be tied to a stake and eaten by crabs at low tide. Okay, that's just not going to happen. So why bother to do that? He goes, well, the whole thing is a test of character. If you swear an oath and you break it, what have you demonstrated? That you never were trustworthy to begin with. You have shown yourself to be a bad brother, and you will be cast out. I'm not going to kill you. That would be against the law, among other things. This is what bothers people who are outside of these organizations. There are a group of people who meet under rules of secrecy, who do something which we on the outside are somehow privileged to know, and we don't like that. Just as there's a desire to be part of a group, there's also the resentment that comes with being excluded from it. So again, if you were to go to a university environment that I spent way too much time around, you got your fraternities and sororities, which live in their own little Greek world on campus. I think it's probably fair to say that most other students have a somewhat negative attitude towards the Greek world. Not in terms of outright hostility, but there's a certain suspicion and dislike of them. Partly because it's something that you are excluded from, and they've set themselves up as a kind of separate organization. So there's always that kind of tension between the people who are those who are chosen to be part of it and those who are excluded.